Let's get this sports podcast party started, all right?
The J Reels Podcast.
This is a team that's in complete disarray. Because think about this. You have three guys that are locked in, where Kevin Durant still has 2 more years left and $106 million on his deal. Bradley Beal has 3 years and $151 million on his deal. And guess what? Devin Booker going into this season, his Supermax kicks in for 4 years and $221 million. So you know what that means? You're not going to get anybody on this team unless you somehow, some way get one of these players off the team. And if you do that, you're going to have to pay a big price because you're going to pretty much just have your roster in shambles if you even decided to trade away an aging Kevin Durant or a Bradley Beal who can't stay healthy, and Devin Booker, who is your homegrown player and pretty much the centerpiece of your team with the Supermax kicking in. He's pretty much your only trade asset. But then again, are you going to do that if you're Matt Ishbia, the owner of this team, who wanted to come in here cavalier to be, I'm bringing in Kevin Durant, I'm going to sign this guy, I'm going to do this and that. But now your cupboard is bare. You do not have what it takes to build a championship roster. And I get it. He wanted to make a splash. He wanted to do something to bring some life to that organization because they were this close, up 2 games to love against the Bucks in the NBA Finals 2 years ago. Granted, he wasn't a part of that, but he felt like, hey, let me throw my Bucks around and let me show my new owner syndrome where this is my shiny new toy. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And now the NBA kicked him swift in his ass. So you can forget about these Suns. Yeah, they'll have probably good regular seasons and maybe have a little bit of a run in the postseason, but they're not going to be built to be championship, medal, or any type of aspirations to get to an NBA final based on their roster. So that's what you have there. And I have to bring this up. And I have not watched any or even listened to anybody else when it comes to TV, radio, or other podcasts. And I get it that this may not be the day to pound on Kevin Durant. I'm not trying to pound on him by any stretch, but his legacy does have to come into question here because if he stays in Phoenix and everything that I just put forth with the way the team is constructed here over the next few years, this team's not going to win an NBA final. And other than the 2 years, which he was the best player on that team, winning those 2 back-to-back in Golden State, the 2017 and 2018 teams. And there's no argument about that. Not even Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, he was not the best player, or those 2 weren't the best. Kevin Durant was, not only just based on him winning the Finals MVP in both of those years, but he was at the peak of his powers. I understand you can't take those 2 away, but that's all he has. He went to Brooklyn, how did that go? Now he goes to Phoenix, how's that going? We understand he's an all-time great. He's the top 20, maybe even top 15 player of all time. And we get it that that's what's going to be his legacy. But when you think about Kevin Durant overall and everything that happened, mind you, this is years removed, leaving OKC to Golden State, understood. But the end of his career, a lot of people are going to think about how it didn't play out in Brooklyn and how this is not going to play out in Phoenix. And maybe, just maybe, if you're the front office of the Phoenix Suns, do you even think about dangling him in a trade? Because nobody's going to take Bradley Beal off your hands. And I get it. 2 years and $106 million for a guy who's I think 34, about to be 35 years old. And he's still great. If I'm the Phoenix Suns, I would really consider trying to trade him. Because Booker and Beal, I get it, they're pretty much the same player. But if you could get someone else back or draft picks, because they've also blown their draft capital to hell, you got to do something. And if you're Matt Ishbia and company, you'd be smart to even entertain the thought and maybe even go ahead and try to trade Kevin Durant off your team. Because if not, you're going nowhere fast. If you're thinking NBA Finals, Matt Ishbia, your team, organization, and even their fan base, you can forget it.